Alors, mon drive, Calabang, drive, Fontem, drive, anyone. Mon drive, anyone. Okay, Charles Amindeh. Madame le bang, et protège again. Madame le bang, et mon pen protège again. Mon saison, il y a un thème à moi.
It was on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, when Charles Amindeh was killed in his own village at Tahweh in Fontem subdivision. In fact, he was assassinated by gunmen, and the body was discovered in the early morning on Thursday. The news got to Gaza media, and we started making phone calls to confirm the sad news. And in less than 10 minutes, we have received numerous calls with pictures. After further investigation to verify the news, we went on air to make the announcement. Charles Amindeh is no more. Charles Amindeh was shot by gunmen on Wednesday, November 20th, while in his village of Tahweh in the Fontem. The reason for assassination is still unknown to Gaza media. It was a very difficult and was not easy to write that short script. A couple of days prior to his death, Charles was very vocal on social media in Kelleban, saying he knows all the contractors and those that have taken money and haven't executed any project. The issue of water supply to Menji, fishing farm in Menji, water supply in Tahweh, health centers, bridges, and the list goes on and on. In fact, he was a voice in the Kelleban Forum, exposing corrupt practices, especially in the Menji Municipal Council. Charles Amindeh was born in 1962 in the village of Ngangali as the first child of his parents, and later the family moved to Tahweh and settled there.
In 1962, you sure? After Ngangali, ndo pagi lo ingama Tahweh. Ko Tahweh, paralenga boma wangano.
Charles came from a low-income family. He attended Kali School, Mwenchen, and later transferred to GS in Chamfem. Then moved on to Moyuka for secondary school, but did not complete his secondary school when the father passed away, and he returned home and started taking care of the sibling.
Yeah, the Gunjati Raw. By the Napaganan War. By that is 1989. No, Pupa Poo. I've been in Malay struggle. So follow the long one. Problem once strong also. The long one. The long one in me, part of 1989 cheer. So after then,
he did some farming, fishing, hunting for a livelihood. All this time in the village, Charles was very vocal. At some point, he was nicknamed a lawyer because he defended cases of land dispute of the village in Menji Court. When the war broke out in 2016, he ran to Douala and later to Congo in search of greener pasture. But later on came back to Douala. While in Douala, Charles will occasionally go to Menji and to his village, negotiating for peace.
Ayo yang tembo do yinga gimo jabo na shwa. Ro yinga mo Douala. From Douala that means in struggle. Nga mo Congo. Ya na minga Congo ate bungang for longbo. Binjima Cameroon. Binjima Cameroon. Before then yale ngo Congo. Nse wandu ma company akateka.
The story is that the reason he was called back from Congo was for him to come and negotiate or talk to the voices in the bush so that normalcy could return, as he was told for school to be open in his own village. There must be security, free environment. Charles spent quite some time with the political elite in Lebanon, either campaigning for them or running their errands. You will often hear his voice congratulating Honorable Bernard Fojo, the senior divisional officer, and other elite from the CPDM. The reason we believe he knew the contractors and the manipulation and the malpractices within the council. During the 8 years of armed conflict in the southwest region of Cameroon, there were a lot of security threats in the BLM. Yet the government has pumped in a lot of money for our project, thinking that will solve the Anglophone problems. Due to the security concern and the corrupt practices, most of those projects were never realized, or only few were done. As the case of the 1 million francs water supply project to Menji, the capital city of the BLM division. That has not, up to now, has a steady flow of water. And Charles was very vocal about it. Some people have even alleged that Charles reported some of the villagers who were supporting Ambazonia to the administrator. He was not very likable again in his village. Upon all our findings, we deduce that Charles knew a lot of information about the inside operation of the CPDM elite in the bank and has dined with them, and then at some time he could not withstand the malpractices and start speaking out, which many did not like, and that may have cost his life. Unfortunately, the authority in Menji has never released any report of any investigation.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Senior Dio, Mr. Central Dio, they will not hear with the cry, operation the cry, say, water no day for Menji. They won't come back drink with you, that's what they talk. Light no day, forget about street light. Mangi fish, you go do hit the mama use fan, you go do the hand of Mr. Senior Dio, Mr. Mayor. Okay, Gasa Media. We are proposing, should we stay quiet? The habit of abandoned projects continue. Or we should criticize. So I
thing we were able to deduce from our investigation is that when Charles came back from Congo, he was very likable with the CPDM elite, tried to settle dispute, tried to bring normalcy, and may have been running errands for the elite of the bank, the CPDM elite. Throughout that time, he saw the operation of how the transaction, contract, project are executed. But later on, saw the malpractice, and that was something that Charles did not cherish so much. Then started speaking out, and especially with the creation of the Bank Forum, where his messages were being deleted. Then later on, in the Bank Forum, where there was freedom of expression. Then Charles saw that as an opportunity and began to speak out. What he probably may have saw, negotiating with the peace for the boys to come back home, he may have inadvertently reported some people to the administrator or to the elite. Then at the same time, then when he crossed the line and was for the population in Kelebam, then start dishing out so much information, malpractice, saying that I know those that took those contracts, I know how much the contract cost, I know everything. That become a threat on both sides. Because in the neighboring village, it's also reported that he was not very lovable in the neighboring village because he has allegedly reported some of the locals to the administrator that were supporting the Amazonian war. So at that time, he was friends with the elite, the administrator. But when he turned his back and was now with the population exposing their malpractices, it became a problem. So, but we cannot exactly pinpoint who actually did the assassination. It's unfortunate. But those are the threats that many journalists, many reporters, whistleblowers, they face, especially in conflict zone. Especially when you are reporting, when you are investigating, you are exposing malpractices, corruption, some big fish. So you want to expose what they are doing. They know that you know they are dealing. So when you go outside to talk about them, if there is any way, they will eliminate you. And we believe that that is what actually happened to Charles. It's unfortunate that has happened. May his soul rest in peace.